Very good. Thank you, Michael. At this time, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Town of Lexington Council meeting. This meeting is being held at Town Hall Monday evening, May 2nd, 2022. This meeting is being broadcast live on the town's cable information channel 1301 and will be available for viewing on the town's YouTube channel. I'm Steve McDougall, the mayor of Lexington. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you my fellow council members. To my left is Mayor Pro Tem Hazel Livingston.
Good evening.
To her left is Council Member Todd Carnes.
Good evening.
To my right is Council Member Ron Williams.
Good evening.
To his right is Council Member Todd Lyle.
Good evening.
For tonight's invocation, I'd like to ask Council Member Todd Lyle if he would give us the opening prayer for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Bow our heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the beautiful weather and just for the opportunity to be here and enjoy your creation. We also just thank you for the opportunity for all the different people here to serve in all the various capacities that they have. We're grateful for each and every one of these opportunities, and we're grateful for the blessings that you continue to give us. We ask you to continue to provide us wisdom, continue to provide us with opportunities to enjoy your creation. Again, give us wisdom as we try to continue to make decisions, but also let it be one that glorifies you. We pray all this in your name.
Amen. Thank you, Councilmember Lyle. At this time, I'd like to introduce U.S. Army Retired Sergeant First Class Rich Little. If you would, please come to the microphone and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance for tonight. Everyone, please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sergeant, if you don't mind, would you like to share something with us about yourself and being a Lexingtonian? We're certainly glad to have you. We know you want to run off. It's probably time. They probably got your dinner ready up there, but
No, not quite.
okay. But we'd love to hear from you.
I'm proud to call myself a Yankee by birth and a Southerner by choice.
Yeah. Well,
Raised
good.
in Brooklyn, New York. I ran from there about as quickly as I could and joined the Army. I spent 22 years there in what some people call an oxymoron, military intelligence. And anyway, I enjoyed those 22 years. During that time, between two wives, I went through the teenage ages twice and settled here in Lexington Well, I got married 37 years ago and have been here in the same home for 36 years. Loved it here. Next month I'll turn 86, and I plan to die here. Okay.
Oh, wonderful.
However, not until I'm at least 99, because that's when I celebrate my 50th anniversary with my wonderful wife.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay. All in all, 5 children, 1 deceased, and we are members of Unity Church, and it's actually out in the Northeast. And I'm really enjoying retirement.
Good
I've
for
been
you.
retiring it for quite some time. After the military, I did a few odd jobs here and there, but eventually settled in. And for 17 years, just before retiring, I opened and owned my own business here in Lexington called Tutor Connection. And I hired tutors from all of the universities and colleges around town and sent them all over the Columbia metropolitan area into homes to tutor the kids anywhere from kindergarten up to the second year of college and whatever they needed. And I guess I'm particularly proud of one thing in terms of I guess over the years we processed over 1,000 students, and I hired about 300 tutors from the different universities, and of all of those, 6 of them who had no intention of being teachers became teachers. So I'm kind of proud about that. So
You should be.
I think I've probably blown my horn enough. Oh, I'll add one thing.
Yes.
That guy over there, that police officer over there,
Yep.
worked with him for 4 years as a VIP. for the
Awesome.
Lexington Police Department.
Well,
So, I guess that's me.
that's wonderful. Thank you so much for your service. We appreciate you very much. Thank you. Yes, sir. Mr. Lyle has a question for you.
Can you tell me the unit patch, your crest?
That's the Army Security Agency.
Security agency.
And just as a point of information, I joined the security agency in 1955. It had been initiated in World War II for the purpose of telephonic spying, if you will. I was into communication intelligence. By trade during the Army, my time in the Army, I was for about 10 years a Polish linguist and then transferred over and became a Russian linguist. And essentially, without giving away any major secrets, we basically listened in on the other guy. Come I retired from the Army in June 1st of 1977, which was one day after the United States Army Security Agency was disbanded. Now, not all of their work, but they were integrated into INSCOM. And does that help?
It does. Did you work with any of the Native American languages as far as any of the code?
That I did not.
Okay.
Basically, what I did, starting at the point of, at the lowest level as a Spec 4, yeah, they're still around, Spec 4, and I worked mostly in voice intercept, and back in those days, now this is not a secret because it's really history, our major source of intercept was Morse code, would you believe? And we also were intercepting teletype and you name it, we were intercepting. And my job, I was the single, as I was called, Polak linguist in the room. And as a point of information, I'm also half Polish. And after going to Polish language school, I went home and spoke to my 100-year-old grandfather in his own language for the first time. That made me happy. Anyway, in the room that I worked in, there were about 20 Morse operators, and then me. My job, of course, was to listen in for voice and then run around the room and interpret the occasional bit of Polish language that would come in the Polish language. Most of the time it was encoded. And after about 10 years as a Polish linguist, I decided to go back to the Defense Language Institute in Monterey for Russian. And by that time, I was a senior NCO, and I supervised the people that were doing what I was doing in the Polish language. Does that? Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions?
No, that's great. Thank you so much for your service. I really appreciate it.
I enjoyed my time and my 22 years in, but I've actually enjoyed my 45 years out a little more.
Sergeant First Class, thank you very much. Appreciate you being with us.
I'm happy to come back anytime.
Okay, you bet. Thank you.
Except I won't have to bore you the next time.
No, it's not boring at all. Thank you so much for sharing.
Mr.
We
Mayor.
appreciate you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
before you leave, sir, just as a Russian linguist, I would also say spasibo vam balshoye. Молодец.
Take care. At this time, I will call the meeting to order. First order of business, I'd like to report on our executive session this evening. Tonight's executive session, we had one routine personnel matter. We had two issues regarding legal issues. There was an issue regarding pending litigation and an issue, advice regarding agenda items. We had one contractual issue. That was a downtown development issue. No vote was taken in executive session other than to vote to adjourn executive session. Do I have a motion to ratify the mayor's executive session report?
So moved.
Mr. Carnes makes a motion. Is there a second? Second. Mr. Williams, second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Deletions on tonight's agenda. Are there any deletions on the agenda for this evening? Hearing none, we'll move right into approval of minutes. A copy of the minutes from the work sessions on March 21st and April 18th, 2022 were provided to you in your packets. Are there any omissions, additions, or corrections to work session March 21 and work session April 18? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to ratify those minutes. Mr. Lyle makes a motion. Mr. Williams seconds the motion. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. At this time, we will move into presentations. Our first presentation this evening is from Miss Cassie Alia Ray, founder and CEO of Serve and Connect. Cassie, welcome. Please come forward. Glad to have you tonight.
Oh, I'm so honored to be here. Thank you so much, Mayor McDougall, for welcoming me here. Thank you so much to our Lexington Council. It is a joy to be with you all tonight. Thank you to Chief Green and our Lexington Police Department, friends and dear partners. I always love being here in Lexington. It's a joy. And tonight is no exception, perhaps one of the greatest joys of them all. For those who may be new and watching, I run an organization called Serve and Connect, which has the mission of fostering positive change through sustainable police and community partnerships. It's an organization I founded after my husband, Greg Alia, a police officer with the Forest Acres Police Department, was shot and killed in the line of duty on September 30th of 2015. You know, Greg had many amazing qualities, but I think his kindness was his superpower. It's what made him an amazing husband, and then when we welcomed our son Sal, an amazing dad. And from everything I've learned, it's also what made him an amazing police officer. I am so proud of all that Greg was, all that he stood for, all that he gave. And as proud of him as I am also so proud that each year we get to learn about other incredible police officers who, like Greg, are giving of themselves so selflessly, day in and day out. They demonstrate how you treat people with deep compassion and respect and service and love, and they are making our communities a better place through that superhero power of kindness. And so each year, we get to recognize the best of the best when it comes to these community engagement and community policing ideals through our Greg Alia Award. So we first had the award in 2016, and every year since have been honored to recognize a police officer in South Carolina who demonstrates these values of community engagement, community policing, of service, of treating all citizens with dignity and compassion and respect, and making their communities a better place through their compassionate service. We've recognized some really amazing officers, and I'm proud tonight. I want to acknowledge my teammate Macy Solano, who is here with me tonight. He'll be joining me for this presentation. So I'm proud of all that we've been able to recognize over the years, but I have to tell y'all, when I got the nomination for Officer D. Cochran, I was blown away. Just to read Chief Green's passionate words about this amazing woman, this amazing officer, I was deeply moved. But that couldn't even hold a candle to what I would learn when I met her in person. I had the deep joy of being able to first talk to her on the phone, and I was like, this woman is unbelievable. And then we came here to film a video featuring Dee and her impact. If you all haven't watched it yet, please do. It is so beautiful and so moving. And it's not even the whole, I hope, we have those recordings that we can share more over time, because to hear from people that she has directly impacted and touched, it's incredible. What really blew me away in hearing others speak about Dee was how they all described her like family, like a sister. That's something special. That's deep. And that shows that she goes above and beyond to serve others. And then when we got to interview her, oh my goodness, cue the waterworks. I felt like I was going to church. She is a truly special individual, and I am so proud and so thankful that we were able to honor her at our gala this year on March 18th. Her words were so inspiring. They just brought the whole room to tears, just her passion and her love and commitment. And I'm going to tell you, it's real, because just recently when there was a shooting in Columbia, in fact, and Dee learned about it, She was right there in the response. That was even outside of Lexington. It shows who she is and how much she cares in her off time, that's how she chooses to spend her time, is giving back and serving others. Officer Cochran is a true hero and someone who deserves to be celebrated and recognized. And I also want to recognize Lexington Police Department on a whole, because she is a shining example of the culture that Chief Green and his team of leaders here has built. True community policing, true community engagement, and I am so proud and honored that we get to call Lexington Police Department our friends and partners in this movement. So thank you so much. And with that, I'd love to just invite Dee and Macy and Chief Green up here for just a presentation. So, Dee, Officer Cochran, you are a truly beautiful and special soul, and we are so proud to celebrate you today and every day. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for everything you represent, and thank you for letting us shine a light on you, because I know that's not what you do it for, but you deserve it today and every day. Chief Green, thank you for bringing this shining star to light, and we are just so honored and proud to be a part of this.
Dee, would you like to share a few words with us? I do. Because I was there, thankfully, with Cassie's invitation to see you give that speech, and she did. She blew. And she didn't have anything written down. It was all from her heart, so please share a little bit.
I think Cassie, she said it really well when she said that about the culture here. I've truly become a woman here. I think that when I first got into law enforcement, you have this idea of being an agent of peace. And sometimes you go into that kind of naive. And I think that when I came here, you know, I'm learning how to garden a little bit with Green Thumb. And I realized that you got to have good ground, right? And you can have the best seed in the ground, but if you don't have good ground, you know, the earth is not going to yield anything. And so being at the town of Lexington, whether it's been a friend or a foe, I have grown tremendously. And doing this work, sometimes you can get weary, and when you love much, you hurt much. And I've learned, like, being in good ground, like I'm here in Lexington, what she was saying about the culture, is that even when I can't see the seed and what's going on, I have people around me that sees it, and they water me, and they nurture me, and they know that I need a little bit of sunshine, or I needed a hug, or I need a pick me up. And so as much as I would like to think that I'm a great victim advocate on my own, that's just simply not true. It has taken tilling, pruning. I'm refined because of the culture here. And when I came here, I did not have a lot of experience in a lot of different things, meaning in maturity, in leadership, and I think being surrounded by this unique, diverse community has really opened my eyes to realize that it truly takes a little bit of everyone's input in order for you to really shine bright and flourish and be great and have fruit. So I just want to thank the Lexington Police Department. I want to thank Town Council. You know, it really was a privilege to have my mayor there, you know, standing on stage when I got an award. It's great, you know, when your peers recognize you, and, you know, but it's a whole nother thing when you have someone that supports you by showing up. So I thank you so much for showing up that day. And I thank you for allowing me to come back in front of the whole town council and bloom and flourish and be celebrated. So I also want to just mention that we just had Drew that passed away, who was in the line of duty, and he gave his life for this work. And I just wanted to encourage any law enforcement officer that's listening that sometimes it's not just laying your life down physically for someone, you know, for accolades or whatever, or, you know, as the ultimate sacrifice. Sometimes laying your life down for a friend and a brother is spending time, looking somebody in the eye, having integrity, having kindness, empathy. That's laying your life down. And so that's just not a job for a police officer. It's a job for all of us. And so when you have a heart for humanity, I just think that it's just organic and something natural that you do when you're in the ground, you in good ground, that everybody contributes to that bloom, that blossom. And so I'm not just accepting this award on behalf of myself, but I'm accepting this award on behalf of this whole town, because y'all all played a vital role for me to do the work that I do, and that's support and encouragement and watering and cultivating and pruning and cutting down and putting back in the ground and then getting sun, and you know, you get the example. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Cassie, Macy.
Just amazing. So deserving. Thank you very much. Thank you all for being with us. Our next presentation this evening is a proclamation read by Councilmember Ron Williams. This is a proclamation, Kids to Park Day. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas May 21st, 2022 is the 12th Kids to Parks Day organized and launched by the National Park Trust. It's held annually on the third Saturday of May. And whereas Kids to Park Day empowers kids and encourages families to get outdoors and visit America's parks. And whereas it is important to introduce a new generation to our nation's parks. And whereas we should encourage children to lead a more active lifestyle to combat the risk of childhood obesity, diabetes, and hypertension. And whereas Kids to Park Day is open to all children and adults across the country to encourage a large and diverse group of participants. And whereas Kids to Park Day will broaden children's appreciation for nature and the outdoors. Now, therefore, the Mayor and Council of the town of Lexington, South Carolina, proclaim May 21st, 2022 as Kids to Parks Day, and we urge residents of Lexington and the surrounding communities to take the children in their lives to a local, state, or national park and set good examples for Lexington's next generation. Dated this second day of May 2022, Steve McDougall, Mayor. We will mail this to the National Park Trust in Rockville, Maryland.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Our next presentation this evening is a proclamation for Safe Boating Week. Mr. Plesser, since you're with us, if you would join us at the microphone, I'd like to present you with a proclamation. This is a proclamation of the Mayor and Council for the town of Lexington declaring May 21st to 27th, 2022 as Safe Boating Week. Whereas National Safe Boating Week is observed to bring attention to important life-saving tips for recreational boaters so that they can have a safer, more fun experience out on the water throughout the year. And whereas on average, 600 people die each year in boating-related accidents in the U.S., and 79% of these are fatalities caused by drowning. And whereas the vast majority of these accidents are caused by human error or poor judgment and not by the boat, equipment, or environmental factors. And whereas a significant number of boaters who lose their lives by drowning each year would be alive today if they had worn their life jackets. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Town Council of Lexington, South Carolina, that the Town Council supports the goals of the Safe Boating Campaign and proclaims May 21st to 27th, 2022 as Safe Boating Week in the town of Lexington, and supports the start of the year-round effort to promote safe boating, proclaimed the second day of May 2022. Steve McDougall, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor McDougall. On behalf of the United States Coast Guard and the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary, I proudly accept this proclamation recognizing National Safe Boating Week. Recreational boating safety is a statutory responsibility of the United States Coast Guard, and the Coast Guard Auxiliary is the principal agent through which this mission is executed. The Auxiliary is an organization of uniformed volunteers authorized by law as an element of the Coast Guard. The Auxiliary has over 21,000 members nationwide, structured into over 700 local flotillas, with the Lake Murray flotilla having about 40 members. Collectively, they offer 1,800 boats, 200 aircraft, and 1,700 radio facilities for the use of the Coast Guard at its discretion. As noted in the proclamation, about 650 of our fellow citizens die in boating-related accidents every year. About 20 of these are in South Carolina, and Lake Murray, unfortunately, has seen its share. We foster recreational boating safety primarily by offering educational programs in boating safety, offering courtesy vessel inspections to assure owners that their boats are properly equipped and maintained, providing safety-related literature to marinas and marine dealers for further distribution, and of course, preaching the gospel of wear your life jacket at all times when underway. Auxiliary members can be found providing volunteer assistance wherever active duty Coast Guard members are, and some places, like Lake Murray, where they aren't. We provide vessels and personnel to augment boat stations, aircrafts, pilot and crew to augment air stations, and are even underway on cutters. When activated and placed under orders, the Auxiliary can perform any mission for which the Coast Guard is authorized, except direct law enforcement and military activation in the event of war. In 2019, the last data point prior to the draconian COVID restrictions that thwarted operations, the Auxiliary provided over 3.3 million volunteer labor hours and a cash equivalent contribution to the United States government of over $217 million. Now that operations are returning to normalcy, we expect to see that something similar to that in 2022. So thank you again for this proclamation. If this recognition saves but one neighbor's life on Lake Murray, it will be worth it.
It will be worth it. You're right, Mr. Plesser. Thank you very much for being with us, and we're glad to do that for you. At this time, I will have a vision plan update. This is a vision plan update for May 2nd, 2022. The Virginia Hilton Park expansion and renovation project is out for bid. The goal is to start construction on part of the park sometime this summer. This project is a complete overhaul of the park and will include all new equipment and features. You should see the first phase of the wayfinding signs going up in the downtown area in the next month. Meanwhile, the next set of signs are started to be designed. The purpose of wayfinding signage is to help point people to different popular destinations within the town. These projects and more are a result of the town's vision plan, which can be found at our website at lexsc.com. At this time, I will have a traffic update from Mayor Pro Tem Hazel Livingston.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The punch list and cleanup crews will be in the North Lake and Harmon Street area over the coming weeks. This work will be intermittent and could require an occasional lane closure. We appreciate your patience while this project is finalized. The adapted signals went live along Sunset Boulevard and North Lake Drive on April the 26th. Staff is continuing to make minor adjustments to this corridor. adaptive along US 1 and West Main Street is expected to go live by the end of this month. The next traffic committee meeting is scheduled for May the 25th at 8 a.m. at Town Hall. Please call 803-358-7273 to report any traffic signal issue, unsafe roadway condition, or pothole that may need repair.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem. Appreciate that. This time we'll move into public hearings. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes. Our first public hearing for this evening is final reading of an ordinance amending section 132.04 loitering. Does anyone here wish to speak to that? Hearing none. Item number 2, final reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 4300-04-044 located at 112 Maxey Road. Anyone here wish to speak to that? Item number 3, final reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 5496-04-005 located at 134 Industrial Drive. Anyone here wish to speak to that? Hearing none. Item number 4, final reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 4496-02-096 located in the 2700 block of Mineral Springs Road. Anyone here wish to speak to that? Hearing none. And finally, a resolution for financing to renovate Park North Apartments. Anyone here wish to speak to that? Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you for being with us. That concludes our public hearings for this evening. We'll move right into old business. Our first item of old business is from Councilmember Todd Lyle. This is final reading of an ordinance amending section 132.04 loitering. Councilmember Lyle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Staff is asking Town Council to consider amending Town of Lexington Code Section 132.04, Town of Lexington Code of Ordinances regarding loitering in an effort to clarify the definition of loitering under the code. A draft of the proposed ordinance is attached herein. Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion for final reading approval of said ordinance.
Mr. Lyle makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Williams seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of old business is final reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 4300-04-044 located at 112 Maxey Road. This is Councilmember Todd Carnes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Jeff Lacey owns 6.52 acres located at 112 Maxey Road and has petitioned to annex the property. A small townhome subdivision is being planned on the property. Properties in town near this one are zoned protected residential 2, and Maxey Road is not currently classified. The Planning Commission reviewed this annexation during their February meeting and recommended protected residential 2 zoning for the property and local road classification for Maxey Road. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion for final reading approval to annex the property.
Mr. Carnes makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of old business is from Councilmember Ron Williams. This is final reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 5496-04-005. This is located at 134 Industrial Drive. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Third Mason Real Estate Retirement Trust owns 5.1 acres on 2 parcels that are being combined into one, located at 134 Industrial Drive, and has petitioned to annex the property. The property is currently undeveloped. Properties in town near this one are zoned industrial, and Industrial Drive is classified as an RTO road. The Planning Commission reviewed this annexation during their March meeting and recommended same zoning and road classification for this parcel. I'll make a final reading of motion for approval to annex the property based on Planning Commission's recommendation.
Mr. Williams makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Carnes seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of old business is from Councilmember Todd Carnes. This is final reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 4496-02-096 located in the 2700 block of Mineral Springs Road. Mr. Carnes.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. P4SC Holdings, Inc. owns 4.3 acres in the 2700 block of Mineral Springs Road and has petitioned to annex the property. The property is currently undeveloped, but the owner plans to subdivide into single-family lots. Properties in town near this one are Zone Protected Residential 2, and Mineral Springs Road is classified as a collector road. The Planning Commission reviewed this annexation during their March meeting and recommended protected residential zoning for the property and collector road classification for Mineral Springs Road. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we table this item for now.
I'll second that.
Mr. Carnes makes a motion. Mr. Williams seconds that motion. Any further discussion? Just to clarify, I think this is tabled because we're looking for a little bit more information. Mr. Poole?
Yes, sir, understood.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. At this time, we'll move into new business. Our first item of new business is from Councilmember Todd Lyle. This is first reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 3500-04-014 located at 4841 Sunset Boulevard. Councilmember Lyle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. D&H Sunset LLC owns 9.59 acres located at 4841 Sunset Boulevard and has petitioned to annex the property. Automobile dealership is being planned for this in the adjacent property. Properties in town near this one are zoned general commercial, and Sunset Boulevard is already classified as an arterial road. Planning Commission reviewed this annexation during their April meeting, and they recommended the same zoning and road classification for this parcel. Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion for first reading approval to annex the property.
Mr. Lyle makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem seconds that motion. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir. Mr. Lyle.
Mr. Poole, would you just clarify again what the restrictions that we have in place for town properties with regards to lights at these car dealerships?
Yes, sir, so, a lighting plan has to be, it's not just a car dealership, it's any commercial development. A lighting plan has to be submitted, if it's felt necessary, and it's always felt necessary for a car dealership, because they obviously have a lot of lights. And that restricts the, light pollution to, I believe, 1 lumen leaving the property, which is a very low, allowable level.
Very restrictive.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Mayor Pro Tem Hazel Livingston. This is first reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 3500-04-035 located at 4851 Sunset Boulevard. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 378 Highway Partners LLC owns .9 acres located at 5851 Sunset Boulevard and has petitioned to annex the property. An automobile dealership is being planned for this and the adjacent property. Properties in town near this one are zoned general commercial, and Sunset Boulevard is already classified as an arterial road. The Planning Commission reviewed this annexation during their April meeting and recommended the same zoning and road classification for this parcel. I make a motion for first reading approval for annexing.
Mayor Pro Tem makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Lyle seconds that motion. Any further discussion? Yes, sir. Mr. Williams.
Well, I see that 378 Highway Partners owns this piece. Somebody else owns the other piece. Will they be a combined issue later?
That is the assumption, that it will be combined once they're both annexed into town, yes, sir.
Anyone else? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Ron Williams. This is first reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map Number 4332-02-003, located at 508 Northwood Road. Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whitney and Roy Mitchell own approximately 1.6 acres located at 508 Northwood Road and have petitioned to annex the property. A single-family home is located on the site. Properties in town near this one are zone protected residential, and Northwood Road is classified as an RL4 road. Planning Commission reviewed this annexation during their April meeting and recommended same zoning and road classification for this property. Make a motion for first reading approval to annex the property.
Mr. Williams makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Carnes seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Todd Carnes. This is first reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map Number 4300-07-013, located at 281 Old Chapin Road. Councilmember Carnes.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, Wiley and Linda Roberts own 4.02 acres located at 281 Old Chapin Road and have petitioned to annex the property. Single-family home is located on the site. Properties in town near this one are zoned protected residential and protected residential 2. Old Chapin Road is classified as a collector road. The Planning Commission reviewed this annexation during their April meeting and recommended protected residential zoning for the property and collector road classification for Old Chapin Road. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion for first reading approval to annex the property.
Councilmember Carnes makes a motion for first reading. Is there a second? Mayor Pro Tem seconds motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Ron Williams. This is first reading of an ordinance to adopt the FY 2022-2023 budget. Councilmember Williams.
South Carolina law requires town council to adopt a balanced budget each year. Budget revenue and expenditures are attached, as well as the draft ordinance. Based on those priorities, I'll make a motion for first reading approval for our 2022-2023 budget.
Councilmember Williams makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Carnes seconds motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Mayor Pro Tem Hazel Livingston. This is first reading of an ordinance to provide for the FY 2022-2023 tax levy. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. South Carolina law requires town council to adopt the tax levy each year. Attached to the draft ordinance for the tax levy for FY 2022 and 2023. And before I make a motion for first reading of approval, I wanted to make a note that we are having no tax increase in the town of Lexington this year, and it's been 20-plus years since we've had one. I can't remember unless it was right after I come on, and I've been on 24 years. So I can't remember when. It's been a long time since we've increased any taxes. So when you look at your tax bill and it's increased, it's not the town of Lexington that's done it.
I believe Mayor Pro Tem made a motion.
I'd made a motion.
And a
Sorry.
statement.
Made a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Carnes seconds that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Very good. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Todd Lyle. This is a resolution for financing to renovate Park North Apartments. Councilmember Lyle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Housing Authority for the City of Spartanburg, South Carolina, has been requested by Park North Housing Partners Limited Partnership to assist in providing financing for a portion of the costs of acquisition of an approximately 7.525 acre parcel of land located at 200 Brook Hill Street West, and for the renovation of the existing 9 two-story buildings located on that same property. State law allows the Housing Authority in Spartanburg to assist in such a venture if there is no local housing authority available to do so, for which there is not here. The attached resolution must be passed by the local governing body as part of the process. Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion for approval of the attached resolution for financing to renovate Park North Apartments.
Councilmember Lyle makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Williams seconds that motion. Any further discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Mr. Carnes.
Just a quick question. The 7.5 acre parcel, that is the full extent of the current Park North, correct?
I do not know the answer to that.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? There's a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. At this time, we will hear announcements from Councilmember Todd Carnes.
All right, everybody, get ready to listen fast. We got a lot going on here, but we will start by celebrating the birthday of Mayor Pro Tem Hazel Livingston. So she has a birthday coming a little later this month, and also just want to recognize her for 24 years of service on town council. And so been a nice long run. So happy birthday. Council also received some difficult news this week with the passing of Tommy Harmon. After a long battle with cancer, Tommy has been a pillar in our community a long time, many decades, led our chamber, did a lot of other things. Went and visited with the family yesterday, and so we send along our prayers and condolences to the Harmon family. The Ice House Amphitheater continues to move forward, hosts a lot of great events. I know there was a super paid event there last Friday. And looking forward, Lexington Live free concerts are up and running this Thursday. Features the Root Doctors. You can come out and enjoy music starting at 6:30. The following Thursday will be Whiskey Run, and on May 19th, it'll be the Big Time Band, our very own. And May 26th, Tokyo Joe returns. You can find out all the information you want at icehouseamphitheater.com. But do come out for Lexington Live. That is a great, fun family time, and we have some tremendous events. This Saturday, May 7th, Town of Lexington's Wine Walk returns to the Ice House Amphitheater Pavilion. 6 o'clock, you can get your tickets. They're $35 this week, $40 at the door. This is the 11th year for the Wine Walk. And everybody understand that all the proceeds from this go to the committee, the Beautification Foundation, which launched this 11 years ago for the purpose of raising money for beautification projects around the town. And I don't know the total figure, but they have given tens of thousands of dollars, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point to beautification projects around our town. And so we're very appreciative for those people who do a lot of hard work to make that night a great event. Market at Ice House. My wife asked me the other day when it starts. It starts May 14th, 9 a.m. You'll be at Market at Ice House with all types of vendors and all types of great things every week. It starts on Saturday, May 14th, and runs through September 24th with one holiday on July 2nd. So everybody get ready to come out and support our local vendors and have a great Saturday morning at our Center Ice House. Finally, meetings lined up in April include council work session on the 16th, starting at 6 p.m. in the conference center, planning commission on May 18th at 8 a.m. council chambers, traffic committee on May 25th at 8 a.m. in the third floor conference room, and town hall will be closed on Memorial Day, May 30th. Finally, in a little more somber note, and especially with having Cassie Alia with us tonight and that whole award, we certainly want to encourage everybody to attend the Lexington County Law Enforcement Memorial Service, which will be held Wednesday, May 18th at 9:30 at 205 East Main Street, right in the courtyard of the courthouse where we have the memorial there. This is an annual event where everyone comes together and honors the memory and the sacrifice of those law enforcement officers who gave the ultimate sacrifice in the service of their community. This year it's especially close to home because there will be the honoring of the most recent end of watch that happened on April 24th, for the young officer Drew Barr, who was a K-9 officer with the Casey Police Department. our prayers and our thoughts continue to go out to his family and all the fellow officers who are grieving that great loss in our community. Had a tremendous presentation tonight by some people who have walked that road and remind us how important our officers are. So that's all the announcements we have. On behalf of the mayor and the town council, I thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Councilmember Carnes. We'll move right into questions from the news media. Any council members have anything they'd like to add? Very good. Are there any public comments regarding tonight's agenda? You have anything you'd like to add for tonight's agenda? Very good. You probably don't know this, but we all had a little bit of a pause when they brought that to us because we never wanted to displace anybody. So we got some reassurance from them that nobody would be displaced. Okay, very good. Good. Congratulations. That'll be beautiful when it's done. Yeah. Very good. That concludes our business for this evening. Thank you for watching the town council meeting for the town of Lexington. This meeting was held at Town Hall Monday evening, May 2nd, 2022. A recording of this meeting will be available for viewing on the town's website at lexsc.com. Without objection, we are adjourned.